joining me for this stretch. It's not a yoga practice, it's not Pilates, it's just a stretch. Sometimes I will do it after I spin, or if I don't have time for a full workout and I just want to move my body. So let's stretch the entire body out. It won't take too long. It's going to feel good and you'll be happy you did it. Let's take the feet hip distance. You can be on any surface you want. Non-slippery is awesome. Bend your knees, rest your elbows, and just let your head hang for a second. Release the neck. Make little yeses. Make little no's. And then just let your arms fall down to wherever they fall down to. Maybe the upper body sways a little bit. I still haven't really straightened my legs because you might not be warmed up. Let's clasp the hands. Stretch the shoulders, arms over. Take a few big breaths. Deep, slow breathing helps the muscles relax into a nice stretch. Drop your arms, roll up. Slowly, like a red doll. Let's stretch those hip flexors out. So just stand 1 foot back, about a leg's length or so. Bend your front knee and press your hips forward. Think of almost tucking the tailbone forward and under. Little curl forward of the pelvis. Straighten the back leg. And what I'm trying to do is press the back leg, that front of hip, forward. Stomach is in, my chest is up. And then I'm going to switch. My back foot was flat, but it could also work if you were on the toes or the balls of the toes in that back foot. Pressing the hips, curling the tail, squaring the hips. Keeping the core engaged a little bit so we don't just dump into the low back. I'm going to cross my right foot in front, press my hips over to the right. If you have something to hold on to, you can do that. Or you can put your right arm over, left hand on the hip. So this is like for the side body, the side of the hip, the TFL, maybe the IT band, feeling my waist, my obliques a little bit, and my iliacus, all those fun muscles, and they get tight. I'm sitting, spinning, walking, life, left foot in front, press your hips to the left. Sometimes if I'm like just spun, I'll put my hand on the bike. Spun, spinded, span. I don't know what that word should be. All right, let's get a quad stretch. So again, you might want to hold something for balance, a wall, a chair, a desk, a nothing. Some days my balance is good, some days it's not. I'm trying to point this bent knee as down as it will go, kind of zipping it towards the standing leg. And I'm pulling that back heel towards my tush. I'm trying to tuck that pelvis under a little bit so I don't end up sticking out my bum or in a back arch. And then switch. Hold on to something, of course, if you need to. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right, now that we're a little more limber, let's go back down into that fold, but let's have more straight legs this time, as straight as it's comfortable for you. You might grab onto your legs or your ankles or your hands or the ground. And just work towards a little bit more of a strong straight leg. Get a deeper hamstring stretch. I also feel it right down the back of the knee into my calves. All right, let's plant the palms since we're here and go back to a downward facing dog. Fantastic for your feet, your ankles, your Achilles tendons, soleus. You know, plantar fasciitis, problems in the feet, the fascia of the feet. This is great for you. Bring your knees down. Let's do a few cat and cow. Inhale, arch the back, look up. Focus on your upper back. Exhale, round your back, scoop your belly, tuck your head, tuck your butt. Let's do 2 more. Inhale to arch. Exhale to round. 1 more. And then sometimes when I'm down here in my all fours position, I do like a side to side cat. So my head and my hip curl to the left. And I stretch out my right side. And then my head and my hip curl to the right. And I stretch out my left side. Let's try 1 more each side. A little side bend. Step your right foot all the way forward so that your knee ends up over your foot. Press your hips forward, lift your chest up. As the hip flexor stretch of the back leg and the quad. I've heard runners call this the world's greatest stretch. I don't know if it's the greatest, but it's pretty great. And then you're going to slip your foot back to where it came from and change. You can also step into these from downward dog if you prefer, or if you're used to that. If you do a lot of yoga, hips pressing forward, heart lifting up, couple good breaths. Welcome to Muskoka, by the way. I am at a cottage on Oxbow Lake here. It is so beautiful. The doggy's down there, passed out, sleeping on the dock. Let's take it back to all fours, and let's just sit right down. Let's do a stretch for the glutes. I like to lean back into my hands. I'm going to cross my right ankle up over the left knee. Drag that bottom foot in. It's like a pigeon pose, but it's a sitting version. And then really sit up tall. Lift your spine, lift the pelvis, chest up, flexing my top foot. I'm thinking of taking the right knee forward away from my right shoulder to intensify it. I find this much safer than the actual pigeon, where you are having your right leg out in front of you and your left leg straight back behind you. I find that really to be too much for most people's knees and run into some trouble. Switch legs. But if you love it, then do it. If it's right for your body. I just know it's not right for everybody. And some people, when they see something in a video, they just make themselves do it. And I don't want any of you to run into that problem of any injuries or ouchies. Not on my watch. All right, let's take the soles of the feet together. This is one of my favorites these days. I don't know why. I never used to feel much of a stretch in it, but now it's so great. So again, don't force the knees down. I'm doing that because it feels good. And let's round forward and breathe. Could stay there forever, but we're making this a short stretch. Come to your knees. If you have knee problems or major foot problems, don't do this one. You can stretch your feet in other ways. If you're okay sitting like this, we're gonna really sit heavy into the heels. My feet are pointed, by the way. My toenails are on the mat, and I'm just lifting off the knees. My feet and ankles are really flexible, so my knees come pretty far up. Yours may only come a tiny bit up. Stretching the front of the foot, the top of the foot, the front of the ankle. And now the opposite curl goes sideways so you can see a little better. I was like this. Now we're going to curl the toes under, stretching, again, the fascia in the bottom of the feet, the arches, the toes. The Achilles are getting a good stretch just for a second. I know we can't do this for too long. All right, let's have the palms facing up to the sky, the fingertips on the floor, so your palms are going to go flat, kind of beside the legs, kind of in front of them, and then just shift back until you get a little wrist, hand, forearm stretch. My wrists are so different. I've broken them both, but in different places, that I have to put my left one way far forward to get the same amount of stretch. Weird, right? We're definitely not symmetrical, most of us, especially if we've had injuries. Flip your palms down, put your fingernails on the ground so the backs of the hands are on. Don't rest too much weight in them, just enough to get a stretch. My wrist just cramped up. Straighten the arms as much as you can. Shift back if you need. Peel it off. Make little fists, make little circles, and then shake it out. Let's come back into a downward dog just for a couple of breaths. I also could do this one forever and ever and ever. It feels just like what my body needs. I've been doing a lot of stand-up paddling here this week, and my calves are very tight, I guess from all the balancing. Walk it forward, bend your knees, roll it up. I'm feeling amazing already. I hope you are too. Let's take one arm across, stretching out the shoulder blade, upper back a little bit. Sometimes we forget about the upper body. We're always stretching out our hips and our legs, but most of our shoulders are pretty tight too. This can improve posture. Switch. Let's take one arm up in the air. I hope you can see me. I know the camera doesn't go quite so high. And I'm gently taking this elbow over to the opposite side. So I'm pulling on my left elbow and I'm gently pulling it kind of to the right, keeping my shoulders down, and I'm also gently pressing my head back into the arm. And then switch. Standing however you want to stand with the legs. That's comfy, stable. Sometimes I'll take this also into a side bend, if that feels good for you. Ooh, let's just do a side bend. Both hands up, over to the side, and the other side. Now, this is also one of my favorite ones that I really feel like I need later. Grab a wall or a door frame. Your elbow is a little soft and pointed down, and you're turning away from it. So this really opens up the pecs, the chest, the front of the shoulder. I do this one a couple of times every single day. And I can't imagine if I didn't do that, how tight and awful it would feel. Thank goodness for stretching. I'm completely addicted to it. I hope you are too, or are going to be, because the more you do it, the better it feels and the happier your body is for sure overall. Switch. If you do any other sports, it's going to help a lot, help you not get injured, help you have more mobility, more range of motion, more power, more strength. All right, let's just finish with the neck. Press your palms down, drop your ear straight sideways towards your shoulder. Am I on screen? I don't even know. And then switch. Give yourself a big shrug, a big exhale. If I missed anything, I'm so sorry. I hope you do any other stretches that you really need, or if there's one that we did that we didn't do long enough that you love, do it again. Bye.